Hello, everybody, and welcome to Premier League predictions with Mikey that are not Premier League predictions. They are FA Cup predictions. We offered, you said, well, go on then. And we are here to predict FA Cup fourth round. We have picked out 10 fixtures. If we haven't included the team you support, it doesn't matter. Get involved. Stick your prediction in for them as well. Mikey, we've tried to look at kind of some of the EFL teams and, teams that have been linked to the channel and linked to obviously us both covering Ipswich over the years. First of all, though, pretty pathetic win for you. I don't know what that makes me last time. 4-3. No bob-ons in Premier League round 24. But don't worry. It's all going to work out today. So, Mikey, you've got quite a nice lead, actually, in the weekly 10-6. Going to take me a month of winning to catch up with that. You're looking at a second consecutive win on the weekly this season. A bit closer in the aggregate, 117. 108. How you doing, boss?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, Ben. And yeah, it's nice that you've thrown in these FA Cup rounds to try and claw back some ground on me.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I think I did last year, didn't I?
I think you might have done.
I did right, didn't I? Yeah,
I definitely got the Ipswich Town fourth round prediction wrong because that was Maidstone, Ben.
Was that the fourth round or the third round?
Yeah, it was the fourth round. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I was going to say there is no fourth round usually when it gets to Ipswich. Being since the FA Cup, Mikey, what we're going to do, I hope everybody's cool with this. All our predictions are going to be 90 minutes. So even if Mikey thinks someone's going to win 5-3 after extra time, he's got to give me a draw at 90 minutes to get me there. So maybe a 3-3 at full time. That's what the points are for. If you want to go the whole hog in the comments with your story time with Sam Parkin as we get with a whole narrative kind of coming out, feel free, fill your boots. Fixtures down there in the descriptions, copy, paste, give yourself 1 point for a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Remember, a draw will take you to extra time in FA Cup round 4. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline after 90 minutes, not extra time. And give yourself 4 points if you get correct scoreline that has 5 or more goals. It is very much the Ruud van Nistelrooy derby, the Danny Simpson derby. Man United versus Leicester, Mikey, to start. So away you go.
Yeah, and when the TV bosses were watching the draw and they're thinking, right, come on, let's have Manchester United out at home and we'll put them on telly, whoever they play, and then we'll look for a narrative after. So they're probably quite pleased when Leicester City came out with Ruud van Nistelrooy and quite glad that he's held on to his job long enough to be there for this one. So Manchester United and Leicester have already faced each other twice this season, but Ruud van Nistelrooy was in the Manchester United dugout, weirdly. Both of them ended in wins for United, but also wins for Van Nistelrooy, which makes this one quite interesting. They were 5-2 and 3-0, so quite convincing, really. Leicester obviously have much bigger... I'm going to use this expression quite a lot. I need a different synonym for bigger fish to fry, because that's going to be the case for quite a lot of the teams that we mentioned. But Leicester definitely, they're so close to Wolves, just above them in the Premier League. I'm going to predict goals in this one because Manchester United is still a little bit chaotic. But I'm going to back them to win this one 3-2.
Oh, I like that. You've gone straight in for a bonus point. For bigger fish to fry, being you and I recycle the same humour from a TV show 20 years ago, I normally go... Well, the real quiz is
the real quiz.
So you could go with that. I like bigger fish to fry. That works for me. Yeah, it does feel like a comfortable home win or a workaday home win. And Ruben Amorim really needs this. Ruud van Nistelrooy doesn't. I know. I'd be interested to get your take. It's a longer conversation. This whole, well, maybe it comes in the Ipswich game. Get some winning feeling back. But I was talking to someone in the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel WhatsApp group today saying, I don't think it has any bearing on what Ipswich do at Aston Villa next week, what happens against Coventry. So I don't know. I think it's very easy to destabilise something when you're winning, but if you're not, it's by the by, really. Man United going to keep a clean sheet, Mikey? You've got Leicester to score. I think I might double you up there, mate. I'll go 2-1. Man United 2, Leicester 1. And we're going to move on to Leeds Millwall. And the last thing I said to Mikey, and it wasn't mind games in the green room because I'm repeating it now, is I said there's going to be a team that, just plays the reserves, that kind of wants to get out of this in the easiest sort of way. And I wonder whether it might be Leeds. I wonder whether Daniel Farker might not be too bothered. But then it's Elland Road, which is intense. It's Millwall as well, which is intense. Alex Neil will fancy it, won't he? And also, literally, guys, fourth wall, Leeds are playing right now as we're recording away at Coventry. We can give you a score update as we go through the show. But so we don't really know what's going to have happened there. I'm going to play my first extra time card here, Mikey. I'm going to go for Leeds to have good underlying numbers, but the game's going to go to extra time. So let me play a 1-1 here, mate. I will throw in, I think Leeds will win it in 120 because you know what Ellen Road's going to be like for a penalty shootout, don't you? Nervous as hell, but I'll go 1-1, mate. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Millwall have gone there in the past and shocked them when the chips were down. Jimmy Abdu scored a famous goal.
Don't remind Leeds fans about that game. Yeah.
Famous goal for Millwall when they were right up against it, but got the win and got to the playoff final. And they also beat Leeds earlier on this season at the Den, didn't they? That was a 1-0 win, but different game away at Leeds. I'm not sure whether they rotate or not, but I think neither side will be overly defensive in this one as it's a cup game. So I'm going to go for Leeds. I'm going for another bonus point here. I'm going for Leeds for Millwall 1.
I'm liking the cut of your jib on these. Mikey goes rogue for FA Cup predictions. Right. I have said with no word of hyperbole on the League One prediction show with Matt SB that Leyton Orient are the form team in the whole of England last week. They have happened to lose to Stockport since then, which isn't helpful, but Stockport are very good. But it's Orient versus Man City, and this stinks of an upset, being Orient have been amazing for about 2 months.
Yeah, and one of the biggest games in their modern history as well. Their fans are going to be so up for this one, and Manchester City probably won't really fancy this, will they, with all the other games that they've got at the moment? Potential giant killing. To get to this stage, they've beaten Boreham Wood, Oldham, and Derby all on penalties, Ben. So maybe, maybe the plan for Orient is to get to extra time and then try and force a penalty shootout. A couple of names that Championship fans will know of from Orient are Dominic Ball and Darren Pratley, who play in midfield for Leyton Orient. Bags of experience there, which will help. I'm not sure how serious. Well, I think Man City probably should be taking the FA Cup seriously, but they'll rotate a little bit, but they obviously don't have a huge squad. I think this will be a game for James McAtee, and I think he'll shine in this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to go for Man City to win this one fairly comfortably with a 3-1 win in East London.
I bet you can't guess what I'm about to do, Mike.
Go on.
I'm very biased towards Richie Wellens. I love him. And look, I've got an argument because Orient are in such good form. You just told me, so this is your fault, Man City are going to rotate. You told me they keep winning on penalties, but someone's got to go for the Orient win, haven't they? And the upset of all upsets. Could they do it 1-0? Just complete S-house, get a goal from a set play, face 35 shots, just pack the 6-yard box and head it, kick it. Orient 1, Man City 0. Can I have a bonus point for that, Mikey?
Yeah, go on.
Thank you very much. As we move on to Coventry versus Ipswich, which I think we're both present at, and I think the entire Ipswich fan base is just really looking forward to not playing in the Premier League, having bust their asses and looked forward and been so excited to get there. Again, as we're recording right now, Coventry are playing against Leeds. So we could be saying Coventry 5 wins on the trot and they've just beaten the league leaders, which would be quite concerning from an Ipswich point of view. But what I think we do know, Mikey, is this will be loose. This will be fun. This will be both teams to score. I'm going to have Ipswich winning it in extra time, even though I want to get out of Coventry and get home and hopefully have a takeaway. I'm going to play a Desmond, Mikey. Coventry 2, Ipswich 2. But don't shout at me, Ipswich fans. Ipswich in extra time.
Nice. So, Ben, I've been supporting Ipswich for...
Are you about to say you've never seen them win in the FA Cup?
28, 29 years. Now, I have seen us win in the FA Cup. I saw us win in the FA Cup against Bristol Rovers a few weeks ago. But I've never seen Ipswich get to a quarter-final of an FA Cup. And if you look over my right shoulder here, there's a
There
FA
it
Cup
is.
final programme from 1978. My dad always tells me that times were much harder when he was a young man, but he did at least get to see Ipswich win an FA Cup final. I'm not
Wow.
saying that I want us to get to an FA Cup final, Ben, but I'd at least like to see us get to a quarter final this year. With
I
the
want us to
squad-
get to an
with
FA
the
Cup
squad that we've
final.
got. Oh, of course I do, but
Best thing ever.
it's not really like a full expectation. But I'd love to see Ipswich do well in it. But I feel like I've seen this one a million times before, Ben, where we rotate and we look at the team and we say, well, it's still a good team. Like Calvin Phillips is in there, but we will narrowly lose.
And
We
here comes
beat
Ellis.
Coventry home and away 2-1 last season. And I think they're going to get their own back on us this time with a 2-1 home win in Coventry.
Wow. Get your comments in, especially if you're watching on the Blue Monday podcast feed. Talk to this man this way. There we go. Mikey, you're up first for the Jimmy Bullard derby. I came up with that all by myself. Wigan versus Fulham.
Yeah, do you think he'll be working at that one, Ben, or will he?
I would bloody well hope so.
Yeah, I don't think he will be. But yeah, this one feels, on the face of it, you look at the fixture and you think this is ripe for an upset. But I've looked a little bit closer, and Wigan aren't in great form.
Very low scoring as well.
Very low scoring, and they've got to this stage with away wins against Carlisle, Cambridge, and Mansfield. So they haven't had to beat anyone higher up.
Mansfield are higher up.
Oh, okay, fair enough. League One's changed, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Fulham, really, they're one of the teams that should definitely be looking at
the
winning this
semi-final.
competition. Yeah. We'll get into the semi-final and then see how they go from there, because they've got a really good squad. They're perfectly safe in the Premier League, and the extra games will probably help them. And they were really good in the third round. I think they're going to be solid and win 2-0 at the JJB Stadium, as it's of course still known.
Why am I pulling this face, Mikey? It's a scribble. It's a big fat effing scribble. I went 2-0, just a comfortable work-a-day win. And you think Wigan's going to be low scoring. And if they're defensive in League One, Sean Maloney's properly going to batten down the hatches in this one. I'm not going to go 3-0. So I'm going to have to go 1-0 because I'm not having Wigan scoring in this one. Wigan 0, Fulham 1. Right. You see this, Mikey? This is my cup set cup, because here comes Birmingham versus Newcastle. Birmingham have more money than God, even more money than Newcastle. No, nobody's got more money than Newcastle.
They've got access to more money than Newcastle at the moment, haven't they?
They do, yeah. And boy, are they having fun spending it in League One. So we think Birmingham, what do you reckon? 105 points? Might even go over Reading's 106 points, even though that was in the Championship. But they are going to score an ungodly amount of points. And as we kind of found watching Ipswich, where you have a well-moneyed team in League One, it really kicks in at this point in the season. And, I'm expecting a big winning streak for Birmingham. Can they beat Newcastle in the Obafemi Martins derby? Does that work?
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Scored the winner in the League Cup final for Birmingham, didn't he?
There you go. Blues fans are going to love this, because I'm about to predict they're going to win, of course, because I'm over all the upsets. And it feels weird them being two divisions apart, these clubs, because I kind of look upon them as fairly sort of similar.
This is a pure Barclays fixture.
It's lovely.
To borrow that expression.
Isn't it? Lovely. But yeah, Birmingham 1, Newcastle 0. Newcastle rest some players. Birmingham fill that stadium up, off to Partizan, nice and noisy. Give me a bloody upset. 1-0 Blues.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there, Ben. I think this is the best tie of the round, actually. They're
Mikey, quickly, sorry. Newcastle play in the EFL Cup semi-final. Is that tonight as well?
Exactly, yeah. So
Way more important game.
Yeah, especially if they win it, then their eggs are firmly in the Carabao Cup basket, aren't they? Especially if they're playing Tottenham in the final, because they'll see that as the chance of a lifetime to finally get a Wembley win. But Tottenham have got that lead, haven't they? As we're recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if Newcastle do somehow end up getting knocked out, then things change. But then they're lowering confidence going to Birmingham, and as Ipswich fans know, that is a stadium that can rattle you. And I could definitely see that happening. I'm not going to go as far as you. I'm going to say 1-1. I've got Birmingham winning on penalties, but we're not paying much attention to that, are we?
No, we are not. But yeah, but really interested in everyone's predictions for that. I hope we don't get a boring Birmingham 0, Newcastle 3, and they just turn up and
well, it's what
do it nice.
that's what happened last year, Ben, with Newcastle Sunderland. I think I backed Sunderland against Newcastle with all of that narrative, and Newcastle did a really professional job, which they may well do here in Birmingham as well.
I'm trying to think who would have been. Might still have been Mick Beale at that point. It wouldn't have been Mike Dodds then. Wasn't Tony Mowbray of all Sunderland's managers last season? Answer me in the comments. So this is 4th round now, so Mick Beale would have been. I don't know. You tell me as we move on to Blackburn. Versus Wolves. Now, Mikey, you're up first, but I'll try and give you a bit of a steer. Blackburn, obviously, with John Eustace in the dugout, pretty good behind the ball, pretty good defensively. They're 5th in the Championship, but they're projecting like 67 points. So they're not a normal 5th place team at this point. They have been on a bit of a losing streak. And you know all about Wolves, Mikey.
Yeah, I do know all about Wolves, unfortunately. And yeah, I'm going to say it. It's a Paul Lambert derby. Probably not a lot of love for the Scotsman between these two sets of fans. But yeah, Blackburn, obviously I'm not paying as much attention to them as you, Ben, but it seems like every season they look like, this will be the year that they get into the playoffs in the Championship. But then after Christmas, they start to lose a bit of momentum, and it definitely looks like that on paper. 4 defeats in 5, although they're possibly playing in this midweek, which might change that. Wolves looking to win on that. Wolves looking to build on that fantastic win over Aston Villa. A really good performance there. They're one of the teams that have got bigger fish to fry, but despite that, I'm backing them to go to Ewood Park and win 2-1.
I can't go down the whole column just doing upsets everywhere, can I? But it's going to be low margin. I know Wolves have got loads of quality, but maybe they'll just have too much. Okay, I won't go for the upset. I don't mind 2-1, actually. I'll go 2-0. I think Wolves have been pretty busy in the transfer window as well. So I'd imagine there's a couple of players there going to want some minutes, want to get eased in, and they'll quite like the idea of 60 minutes against opposition from, albeit only, 6 or 7 places below, but it is a division below at the end of the day, isn't it? Let's move it on. I'm fascinated to see what you do with this one, Mikey. Plymouth versus Liverpool. Sorry, as much as I would love to see an upset, it'd be absolutely brilliant if Argyle could get through. I can't see even Liverpool absolute 11 changes second team losing down at Plymouth. I hope I'm wrong, because it'd be brilliant if Argyle beat them. Normally we say with EFL teams, hard place to go, but I don't know, Liverpool are so good, aren't they, this season? They've been incredible. Again, the caveat that they play Spurs at home in the EFL Cup with a chance to get to Wembley, which is really important. But I just look at Liverpool, Mikey, and think that they can have a crack at every game they're in. Champions League, EFL Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. Could win more than one trophy this season. I know that gets said about Liverpool like every February, doesn't it? Are they going to win 5 trophies this season or something? But they could do more than one this season, couldn't they? So I'm going to be backing Liverpool. Let's give Plymouth a goal. Plymouth 1, Liverpool 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to add one more goal onto that total. I'm going for a comfortable 4-1 win for Liverpool. This is probably the wrong season for Plymouth to get this plum tie. I think they'd have fancied it last season or the season before.
But in League One, they'd have been all over this, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and Liverpool are just really good at the moment, aren't they? Slots rotated. He rotated loads in the previous round against Accrington, which may give them a bit of a glimmer, but these are players that are coming in that are full internationals and players that are desperately trying to get in the league and Champions League team for Liverpool. So, yeah, I can't look beyond a comfortable Liverpool win, but I would love to see Plymouth do something.
Amen. Villa versus Spurs, Mikey, in an all Premier League clash.
Yeah, and these are two teams again.
Tim Sherwood?
We'll take Tim Sherwood in his gilet for both of these. Again, both of these teams should be looking at winning the FA Cup because they're unlikely to. Well, Villa have got an outside chance of finishing in European position. Spurs, that ship has sailed. will Spurs get to the Carabao Cup final? I'm not sure. So it might be all in on the FA Cup. And Spurs under Ange Postecoglou have got a good recent record against Villa. They won their last 2 pretty easily, quite impressively last season at Villa Park and earlier this season at Spurs. I'm not all in on Villa at the moment. And obviously Spurs are a bit chaotic. They got that win against Brentford, but we don't know what's happening in that Carabao Cup game. I'm going to go for Desmond here. I'm going Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 2.
Have I got a vague memory, Mikey? I think Villa lost at home to Palace in the EFL Cup? And I just wonder, I mean, we love Villa at home on the Premier League predictions, but I just wonder where I still haven't picked out my, team that's good, rests players and loses game. And let's be honest, Spurs, we're judging Spurs like they're some kind of bottom 6 team when they have
and then Spurs are starting to get players back as well. But Villa have got the Champions League coming up, but crucially for them, they don't have to play those extra qualifying games. So maybe they won't rest because they're playing Ipswich a full week later.
Yeah, but they'll still like to give some people a week off, surely, Mikey, won't they? I'm going to back Tottenham just on the basis I need one where the favourite, the home team, rests some players and just has a bit of a muggy home defeat. And that home defeat's always 1-0, isn't it? So let's go Villa 0, Tottenham 1. I love Unai Emery, but he's going to rest too many players here and he's not going to be too bothered about them getting knocked out because they've been struggling a little bit to balance Premier League and Champions League.
Yep, fair.
Anyway, Doncaster versus Crystal Palace, Mikey. I have no earthly clue. Have you got notes about Doncaster?
Yeah. Doncaster.
Would you like to read them to me?
Doncaster are flying high in League 2 at the moment. 4 league wins in a row. I'm not sure if they're playing tonight. Quite possibly, yeah.
I think they do. Carry on. Sorry.
It's been a special season so far for Doncaster. Getting to the 4th round of the cup as well. They won at Hull away in the previous round, but Palace can focus really on this FA Cup run, can't they? They can try and enjoy it this season, which they have done a few times in the recent past. And if they wear their yellow kit, you've got to worry for Doncaster at the moment. I'm going for Donny 1, Crystal Palace 2.
Grant McCann. He was at Doncaster before, wasn't he? And then at Peterborough. Fairly recently. Yeah. Sorry, what did you go for, Mikey?
I went for an away win, but narrow, 2-1.
I think I'm going to double you up, and I think Palace meet your criteria for a Premier League team who should be trying hard here because they're, I know they had their issues earlier in the season. And I don't want to, short-lived, wasn't it? I don't want to rule out Doncaster completely, but it does feel sometimes with these ties where you think if they take this seriously, then bish, bash, bosh, into the hat you go for the next round. So I think it's going to be straightforward. I am going to back Crystal Palace to win 3-0, Mikey, and to just get the job done here. Maybe it will get a little bit stretched and a substitute or two will score at the end of the game. But no upset for me there. Although we have forecast a few. Just quickly, we are live and in the flesh here. Coventry 0, Leeds 2, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0 as we're recording.
Okay, so that's
right now at
8:30 through, aren't they? That's 3-0. So
yeah. Okay, that helps my Birmingham prediction. Well, I think it helps my Leeds prediction as well. And Coventry can be nice and chilled out, although they've still got a playoff show. Anyway, those results could all flip around and we don't know anyway. But what we do know is we want you to get involved in the comments. Are you going to be as bold like I am to predict some upsets here for wins for League One, Birmingham and Leyton Orient? Get involved, copy and paste down there. Get your predictions. And remember, we're only going to 90 minutes. Whatever you think is going to happen in extra time doesn't really matter. Just get your 90-minute predictions in there. Give yourself a point for a correct outcome, home away, or draw after 90. And Mikey's gone big on the bonus points. 3 points for a correct scoreline. And how many bonuses have you played for, mate? I think 3.
3.
Man United 3, Leicester 2, Leeds 4, Millwall 1, Plymouth 1, Liverpool 4. I've gone for the upsets and no bonus points, which is probably foolhardy from me. But you get involved in the comments, get your bonus point for 5 or more goals. And check us out. We haven't got the lineups sorted yet, but if you want some more FA Cup content, I suspect there's a chance Mikey might be on Blue Monday with me at the weekend as well, although we haven't done our team selections yet for all that. But do check that out. I'll probably be on Matt SB's vlog as well on Saturday. So we are well and truly well-versed with the magic of the cup. Last word from you, Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really good, when you look at it, and there was fixtures that we've left out here, Ben, as well. It's a really good set of FA Cup fixtures. Lots of games on telly. I know it's spread across a few days, but yeah, this is one to really enjoy.
Yeah, very, very much so. And to Mikey's point, if we haven't mentioned your team, please, you do it. Get your prediction for them down there in the comments. We just try and limit it to 10 fixtures like we do on the...
And I would have predicted Bournemouth to lose, as always.
There we go. Brilliant, Bournemouth. Right, we will see you back for the Premier League predictions next week. So if you're tuning in and you're a fan of an EFL team and you've come in here, Premier League predictions here with the great Mikey Pentti-Smith. And we do have Championship predictions as well with the great Sam Parkin and the equally great Matt SB. I'm overdoing League One on his channel. Everyone's just equally great in my hyperbole world here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the FA Cup.